This is how much money Taylor Swift is worth in 2024 and what she spends it all on, and trust me, you will not believe how much she spends on property. So she hit billionaire status late last year, but where does it all come from? Okay, let's start off by looking at what she earns for streaming. When it comes to streaming, it's estimated by Bloomberg that she earned $175 million alone just through contracts with platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. Well, we're only a few months into 2024 and she's already surpassed over 5 billion streams on Spotify, but let's take a look back at 2023. Variety estimated that if she takes home about 0.0035 cents per stream, and if you multiply that by her streams for that year, which was over 26 billion, she would have made an estimated $130 million from Spotify streams and an estimated $200 million in total across all streaming platforms. Okay, and according to Bloomberg, her music catalogue is worth $400 million and she earns about $80 million in royalties. But what about her re-records? Well, Billboard estimates that with her Taylor's versions and with her newer albums, she takes home about 46% of royalties from sales and for streaming, and this is because she negotiated to own her masters. We would be here all day if we kept talking about what Taylor earns for her songs, so let's move on to touring. This is actually where most of her money is made. So the Eras Tour, which is only about halfway through so far, has already become the first tour ever to cross the $1 billion mark. It's estimated that on the North American leg of the tour, she earned about $10 to $13 million a night, and that she took home about $780 million in sales from that leg. It's also worth noting that the US Travel Association estimates that she generated about $5 billion for local economies. Anyway, back to what Tay takes home. Her previous tour, the Reputation Stadium tour, brought in about $226 million in ticket sales and broke the record for the highest grossing US tour of all time. Her tour before that, the 1989 World Tour, made about $250 million in ticket sales and made her the top grossing touring artist of that year. Also, Forbes estimated that the merch that she sells at her shows could add an estimated $87 million to her fortune. Okay, and while we're on the subject of tours, we should also mention the Eras Tour concert film. It became the highest grossing concert tour of all time and brought in an estimated $97 million in ticket sales on opening weekend. Oh yeah, and she just sold the streaming rights for this film to Disney for a cool $75 million. We can't forget about the brand deals either, so there aren't really any official figures out there, but over the years she's worked with Apple, Diet Coke, Walmart, American Express, Stella McCartney, Capital One, to name just a few, and we're guessing they pay a pretty decent sum. So what does she spend it all on? Well, let's start with real estate, and spoiler alert, she owns a lot of it. She has both a condo and an estate in Nashville that's worth about $5 million, an estate in LA worth $30 million, a mansion in Rhode Island, and an apartment in New York worth $40 million. She also did have a house in London at one point, but it's unknown if she still has that one. But it's estimated by the Wall Street Journal that all her properties add up to about $150 million. Moving on from property, she's also got a private jet worth about $26 million and enough designer handbags to fill at least 2 of her mansions. But she's also a huge giver, having donated millions of dollars over the years to various charitable causes. She even buys her fans Christmas or Swiftmas presents and pays off their student loans. She's donated $1 million to Louisiana flood victims and also $500,000 to Nashville flood relief. She donated $250,000 to help fellow singer Keisha with her legal fees, and pledged $4 million to the Country Music Hall of Fame to fund the Taylor Swift Education Center. Most recently on the Eras Tour, she's been donating money to food banks in each city that she plays, and she's also been giving her truck drivers $100,000 bonuses. Okay, so there we have it. Hit the follow button for the next episode of Breaking Bank.